Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Ark Survival Ascended. And today, I have another creature that I want to go ahead and tame up and potentially even add to the mutation list. A couple weeks ago, Paleo Ark went ahead and had an update adding the Ledumahadi over here to Lost Colony. And I've been able to find a couple good levels. They seem to be relatively common over here, so I kind of thought that I might as well go ahead and try and tame up a few of them. I only tamed one when they were first introduced back in last year. I can't remember exactly when. They're relatively new, though. But I do want to go ahead and check them out, as I have found quite a few of them around, and I would like to go ahead and get some just to see if they'd be any good against outposts. I feel like, given their special abilities, I think they'd actually be pretty decent at handling outposts. So we're just gonna head up. I think I remember finding one down at the southeast corner of the map, so I'm just gonna fast travel down there and just have Mischief bring all my stuff for me. Here we go. And hopefully it's the first one that we end up finding, that way we're not here for too long. But I brought enough kibble to go ahead and tame. I think that should be about 5. I doubt we're going to be able to even find 5 of them, but we'll go ahead and give it a shot just in case. You never know. Might get really lucky today. But yeah, I want to go ahead and tame a couple of these guys up, and then I'm going to get one of them that is able to go ahead and use it for an outpost. I'll probably just use it on a gamma one. I don't want to go ahead and have to get a super imprinted one, and as far as I know, you can't get their saddles on Lost Colony, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get the good saddle that I'd need if I wanted to really start working on using them for outposts, but we'll see. I don't really think this is... Oh, there we go. Okay, I don't think this is about where I saw one. Actually, no, I think one was over in this direction. I think there's a 140 over here, so hopefully we'll find it. I'm not sure how many I plan on taming. As I said earlier, I did bring enough kibble for 5 of them. I feel like that's a pretty good amount. I've honestly noticed that they're relatively common here, particularly around the mountainous regions and the big forest with all of the crystal plant tree things. I really don't know what you'd call them, but yeah, I feel like they're relatively common here, so I thought I may as well give them a shot. And honestly, I've wanted to go ahead and mutate these things ever since they first came out, so I might even end up adding them to the list, but that list is seemingly getting longer by the day. I mean, they just announced that the Acro is going to be coming out, and that was one of my favorite things. And oh, we actually have a 145 here. Okay, but yeah, so simple tame method. In order to go ahead and tame these things, you're going to need a couple things. One, you're going to need, obviously, some food to feed it. Now, I think they take extraordinary, but you might be able to use exceptional, but I just brought extraordinary just in case. And you're going to want a weapon with a lot of damage, so of course I have my shotgun here. I would recommend you use firearms, not projectile weapons like bows and crossbows, because they don't seem to work the same, and I would recommend a really low source of damage, so I have a primitive fabricated pistol, so I can go ahead and hit it a couple times, and it should go ahead and enter blocking state here. Apparently the pistol isn't working. I don't know if there's a certain damage threshold I have to hit, or maybe it accidentally activated block stance already. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we need to shoot it a couple times so its arms start crackling. There we go, so I'll just hit it one more time for good measure. And then we need to wait, and oh, there we go. When it rears its arms up like that, it is going to use its shockwave attack, and you need to shoot it one more time, and it'll go ahead and do a bunch of torpor to itself. I think I have my magnifying glass on me. There we go. Alright, so that did about 3,750, I want to say, of, I think that was like a little bit over 8,000, so we'll need to go ahead and do this a couple times. I have noticed, though, there does seem to be a bit of a cooldown on the block stance, and it can be a little bit hard to gauge when that cooldown runs out and when it's ready to activate block stance again. That's why I recommend you bring a low damage weapon like the fabricated pistol, just because you won't do a bunch of extra damage. I think they gain health whenever they go ahead and use their Thunderclap ability whenever you give them torpor, but I'm not 100% sure about that, and they can't harvest corpses and gain health because they are herbivores. So I'd recommend that you bring just a really low damage source, that way you don't accidentally go ahead and kill one. I've done that before. Though, I am a little bit concerned that it is actually a damage threshold that triggers block stance. So maybe this isn't going to work, and honestly, we need to have Mischief go away, because I'd like to keep him around if I can, but he's kind of just getting himself hurt. Alright, here we go. Oh, we need to not be doing it this way. Okay, 1, 2, one more for good measure, and then wait until, there we go, and should, yep, snap itself in the head. Perfect. Alright, so yeah, you basically just need to do that a couple times. It's really not too difficult, especially if you have good weapons. Obviously, early game, it might be a little bit difficult to do this, because the progress towards the energy built up in their hands before they do their thunderclap attack, I think that's based off of damage. I'm not 100% sure exactly how the deep mechanics work about this. I just know the general taming idea and a good way to get it done. So this is how I would recommend you go about it. Obviously, you don't need to have it as modus, but I highly recommend it, as they're really nice. And okay, this is the one with the good saddle. I feel like we've taken a lot of damage for all of that. I'm honestly getting a little bit concerned that this pistol isn't really doing the job. I don't know if the cooldown just isn't up, or if it really is a damage threshold that I need to hit. Let's just get up in the air and loop around the side. Honestly, he should have the health to handle it, so let's just do one of these. Oh, yeah, no, that worked. Yeah, that's almost night and day difference. Okay, it might actually be a damage threshold. Maybe I didn't need to get this fabricated pistol at all. Other one. And, okay, it should be pretty close to falling asleep here, I would think. Let's take a look at its health, just to confirm if it regenerates. It looks like it does. Okay, it looks like it doesn't completely regenerate, but it does regenerate some health. So yeah, also might not be a bad idea to bring a snow owl with you, now that I think about it. I'm just gonna keep holding on the Mischief. Let me just put him and tell him to sit up here. Maybe that'll help out a little bit. First of all, we need to change that, and then there. That should work. And I forgot to put my Drake Lane back on my shoulder, but that's okay. Alright, I think cooldown should be done by now, so let's give it... There we go. 1, 2... That seems to be all we need, but I will do the third just in case. Is sometimes, even though the lightning crackles, it can not always work. And, by the way, if you don't go ahead and shoot it while it's doing the thunderclap attack, while it opens its arms up and gets ready to clap, it will go ahead and get the attack off, and that does a decent amount of damage, but it also stuns you for a good amount of time. And, I mean, as you guys have been able to see, these guys do a pretty good amount of damage. I'm hoping that this guy's actually just got really high damage to begin with, but we'll see. Can't really tell how long it's been, but I'll give it another shot. No. Okay. Wait a little bit longer, I guess. Around behind it. Honestly, it might be a decent idea to use my, my Malwin instead of my Desmodus for this. Alright, we're gonna have to make this work. I have done a little bit of testing. I have confirmed that putting more damage in at either the stage where it's charging up the thunderclap or when it's about to initiate the thunderclap does not seem to change how much torpor it does. So you just need to go ahead and get the lightning to start crackling around its hands, and then get it to hit itself in the head when it does thunderclap. But alright, looks like our stats are pretty balanced. Honestly, there's really nothing there that's that exciting. Just gonna get rid of this RG just in case. Oh wow. That's a lot of damage. Oh, I guess Heat Seeker did proc though, but still. Alright, anyway. Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll just give this guy the kibble we need, but this is not the one that I had in mind, as I found the 140 earlier. And I could be wrong, but I think it might have been a female, meaning that we'd be able to go ahead and breed these things together, and then I could get an imprinted one later on. Or, I don't know, maybe I could go ahead and mutate them. We'll see. Definitely let me know if you would like to see these things mutated, as that definitely will help motivate me to do it. And I have a lot on the list, so being able to figure out what things I should try focusing on would be really helpful. Let's just take a look. I'm still in the market for some good level U ties. I haven't really gotten any of them, and I'm starting to get to the point where I am getting ready to think about fighting the boss. I'm going ahead and growing up more Veil ones to turn the Mal ones, though I do need to focus on getting Volpites. I really haven't been doing a lot of that. And, of course, I still need to learn how to do Alpha Defense Outposts so I can go ahead and get those sigils, but let's see. Is there... I feel like the 140 was over here. I guess I technically could have passed it. And this is pointing to a different one and not the one that I already have taming. That or maybe it just died. I guess that could be the case. I feel like it was right around here, though. So, let's take a look. No, it wouldn't be this far. So yeah, it must have ended up dying. It must have fallen in the Edmundium or something. Alright, that's unfortunate, but we'll be okay. We'll be able to find more of them. As I said earlier, I've most notably found them kind of around... Oops, wrong one. Down here in the southeast seems to be the best spot. Along this mountain range, though, I've seen a couple of them. And the northern end of the... I guess the southern western mountain range. I've seen some over there. I think pretty much anywhere where it's mountains or kind of more of the forested areas tends to be a decent spot to check. I'm not exactly sure of the actual spawn regions that these things spawn at, but I've found them relatively common compared to what I would think they'd be. Back on Scorched, I believe, is where I tamed the only other one I've ever tamed before. They were pretty rare, so they seem to actually be pretty common over here. I'm hoping, though, that they also added the Empirosaurus, because that is the other creature that is the Ledu's partner in Rulers of the Wasteland. So I'm hoping the Empiros over here. I've seen a bunch of Revenant Empiros, but I haven't seen a single actual wild one, so I'll have to look around for those, and if I end up finding a couple of them, then I might go ahead and tame some of them and have that be a video, but for now we're just going to focus on Ledus, and I'm just going to pull this up to see. Okay, we do have another one over here. We'll go check this one, and then, assuming it's good, we can go ahead and tame it, and if it's not, then I'll just have to go ahead and bring you guys back when I actually manage to find a good one, because apparently all the good ones on the map are no longer here, so might end up being a little bit longer than I anticipated before we find one, but hopefully this one should be over here. Yeah, we're having a turn now, so let's see. Guessing he's probably right across the lake. Oh, nope, there he is. Another 145. Unfortunately, it is a male, so we're not going to be able to get the mate booster, breed them together. This one looks like he probably doesn't have very good health, though, which isn't great. Come on. There we go. Alright. Do this one more time. Oh, hold up, there's a second one. 55, not good. We'll have to find a decent way to get rid of it. Can I hit it from... Okay, that does work, so... There we go, alright. In the meantime, the other one is probably ready and is off cooldown. Just hit it a couple times with Fabricate Pistol, see if that works. Okay, an entire magazine doesn't seem to work, so... I feel like he's really low, though. Yeah, we got him into block stance that time. A bit hard to control this with a Desmo. There we go. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about his health. I do have a Snow Owl back at home, but I really should have brought it with me. Looks like he's healed up a little bit. Alright. I'm gonna try and time to see how long the cooldown is. I haven't really started counting yet, so I'll try that with the next one. Give him a few more seconds. Let's go now. Nope, definitely not. This guy must have some really bad health if he's looking this bad. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3 just for safety. And wait for it. Thunderclap. Boom. Shock himself. I'm guessing it's probably around like 30 seconds to maybe a minute on the cooldown. Just keep up in the air out of his way. I kind of want to check his health, because I don't really know if he's going to be able to survive much more of this. Let's try giving him a couple bites. Oh, there we go. Not really sure how long that was. I want to say that was about 30 seconds, maybe? Right, here we go. Thunderclap. Boom. Okay, I think we're looking at 1, maybe 2 more before you should pass out. Honestly, seeing how much damage they do, I'm starting to wonder if their attacks hit through armor. Because, I mean, how much? Yeah, 122 armor Desmodus saddle. I mean, I guess any saddle would have the same calculation, I think, but I would think that they'd have to have some kind of armor penetrating properties if they're doing this much damage to something with this much armor. So these guys might actually be even better for outposts than I thought. 1, 2, 3, quick reload, and thunderclap, and night-night? Yep, night-night. Alright. Let's take a look. Your health has got to be bad, so... Oh, it's actually not that bad at all. How much health did the other one have? Not that much more. Maybe the blood's just a lot more easy to spot on you. Alright, well, I mean, that damage is decent. Ideally, we'd be looking for about 30 in a single stab before the taming, but... I don't know, I think that's okay, and from the looks of it, yeah, 7 kibble should work with my rates. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave this guy here to tame up, and I'm gonna go try and find another. I want to get at least 1 female, so I can go ahead and get an imprinted one later on. So yeah, I will go try and find a couple more of them, and I'll be back. Alright. Got a 140 male here, and he should be on the final attempt to go ahead and apply some torpor. I found that it takes normally about 30 seconds to go ahead and wait for the cooldown to be done. And one thing I did forget to mention while we wait for those 30 seconds is you do have to be level 90 in order to go ahead and initiate the taming progress of these things. You can't do it if you're under level 90, so would be pretty good information to keep in mind if you're trying to get one of these, I guess, quote, early game. I guess 90 is not exactly early game, but I wouldn't exactly say it's late game either. Alright, that should be the last one, though. Yep, there we go. Alright. So, yeah, I've managed to go ahead, and this is the 5th one I've managed to knock out, and yeah, I've just gotten extremely lucky this time around. But, here is their location on the map, so, yeah, just mostly around the eastmost mountain range, and then the middle and southern western mountain ranges. I don't know if you can find them a bit more north. I'm assuming you probably can. They seem to just kind of spawn anywhere that's got relative mountainous terrain. So, honestly, yeah, they're pretty common here on Lost Colony. I'd honestly recommend that you go ahead and tame them over here if you're looking on a good map to tame these guys on. They seem to be pretty abundant, so yeah, fortunately, it is going to take a while for all these guys to tame up. In fact, I got a sanguine for this one, though looks like I may have left it in my Desmodus. Yeah, there it is. Alright. Hopefully that'll speed up the process a little bit. I might go around and use the sanguine on some of the other ones. Hold on. Nah, there we go. Weren't close enough just yet. But yeah, it's going to take them a little bit to all tame up, so I will go ahead and bring you guys back when they're all tamed up. We'll take a look at the stats that we ended up getting, and then I'll probably go ahead and take one of them out and see how it handles an outpost. So I'll wait for all these guys to tame up, and then I shall bring you guys back. Okay, I'm back, and I've gone ahead and picked up all the Ledus, so let's go ahead and see what we're looking at stat-wise from the ones we've tamed today. Unfortunately, we were only able to get one female. I don't really know why I seem to struggle to find any, but it's alright. As long as we got one of each, then we'll be able to get an imprinted one. But let's just take a look. 45 in oxygen. I don't really need that. 45 in damage. That's really close, but we're looking for a little bit better. If only it was a 150 pre-tame, then probably would have gotten the 46 that I'm looking for. Let's see. Best one here is 41 food, 40 in damage. Not damage. Health isn't that bad. I could probably combine these two to be able to get a pretty decent one for getting actual mutatable stats. Let's see. This one, 42 in food, and then we have 42 in weight. Okay, so with the exception of stamina, we got some pretty decent stats in all the ones that I'd really want to care about. I mean, stamina is the only one with nothing above 40, but let's just take a look. I want to find one that it's got decent stats, but nothing crazy. This one's actually probably the best one, though. That does have oxygen. I would like to preserve that if I can. This one's only got 1 point of food more than that one, so I'll take this one. I really don't need oxygen. I just like having the highest stats that I can get a hold of, even if they're not particularly helpful. So let's just grab that one. Let me find it again. There we go. Toss him out, and we'll check him out in a second. Let me just quickly go ahead and store these things away for now. I'll just go ahead and toss them up into my my creature bin up here, and then I'll go ahead and have to sort through them later and see if I actually want to keep any of them. And I also need to go ahead and make this guy a saddle, because I haven't gone ahead and done that yet, and I just want to make sure that I don't already have one laying around here somewhere, right? Yeah, no. So, as I said earlier, you have to be level 90 to tame these guys, and that is the same level that you're going to need to be to unlock the saddle, and those are the requirements. Nothing too crazy, though. A little bit amount of metal, but I guess for a saddle of that high level, I guess it's not too crazy. But yeah, here we go. Just give that a couple seconds. And there it is. Alright. Fortunately, it's really dark outside, but it'll hopefully light up here pretty soon as it's becoming day. Here, I might actually be able to go ahead and grab something that can help light this guy up a little bit. Let me just grab a spare gloon. I probably have one around here somewhere. Yeah, there actually should be some right in here, right? No, I guess not. Alright, maybe I don't have anything to light this guy up. But yeah, it looks like sun's coming out anyway, so it's nothing too bad. But yeah, here it is, the Paleo Ledumahadi. And yeah, there is a normal variant, not just the Paleo variant, but because I have the special mod, I do have the Paleo variant. And of course, these guys are only able to spawn if you have Paleo Ark Rulers of the Wasteland around, so not vanilla creature, but that's okay. And yeah, I mean, 36 points in the health already gets us to 15k health. Of course, there is the 30% imprint from the skill that I have. I honestly kind of wish I was able to skip over that one, but one in the chain is really nice to have. And damage, I mean, that's pretty uniform for all creatures. But yeah, so nothing too bad. So let's go ahead and get the saddle. And see, they're honestly relatively fast considering that their size. I feel like this isn't actually that bad. And it looks like their usage of stamina is actually pretty good. But let me just go ahead and go through all of their abilities, because it's been a while since I've used them. So, want to change stance. We use scene. That'll put us in biped mode. We're not nearly as fast, but this is the more lethal stance from what I remember on these guys. So go ahead and go back down to the quadruped stance, and we have our bite, our shoulder check, and our tail slam. I'm guessing that all just depends on which which direction we're facing. Looks like they can harvest berries this way, which is decent. Doesn't look like they're the best at it, but they're definitely not bad, so definitely an option you can use. We have a head bash, which, yeah, that just looks to be a headbutt. Here, let's actually go ahead. Let me see if I can pull for a training dummy, just to check the damage out a little bit more. I think I should have all that. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Just give this a couple seconds to craft up. Go ahead and hop off so I can go ahead and drop on down. All right, we'll just put this out here for a little bit. So, main primary attack in quadruped stance, about 200 damage. Okay, that's okay. And then the head bash gets us 160. I'm guessing that probably does knockback, though. And then at full charge, we will gain access to Thunder Pulse, so that's obviously helpful. And then, of course, we have our Cosmetic Roar, which is always nice to have access to. I always like it when you have those. Then let's see, we get our Claw and our Tail Swipe, and oh, yeah, no, that is a much higher damage. Then, of course, we can enter Block Stance, in which we will go ahead and any damage we take will be converted into kinetic energy, at least from, I believe, attacks from wild creatures, and just any physical attack counts, as well as attacks from, like, firearms and stuff. So let's go ahead and just get this mammoth angry at us. And we'll just start blocking. And yeah, you can see our kinetic energy is building up. And then once we hit max, we will go ahead and we can use Thunderclap. Probably should have picked something that can attack a little bit faster. Almost there. Alright, there's 100%, so now we should be able to just do Thunderclap, and there we go. Pretty decent damage, very good range, but more importantly, it stuns things, and it looks like they actually take extra damage during this point. I thought that there was a way to go ahead and increase the damage of that, but can't really remember, and I'm not seeing anything there on the keybind, so that's okay. But yeah, damage is pretty good, and of course the main use that you would have out of Thunderclap, in my opinion, would be that incredible crowd control. Not only do you have incredible range and decent damage, but you also stun things for, I believe it's 10 seconds. And seeing that just about any form of damage will go ahead and charge kinetic energy, I feel like this guy could be really helpful for going ahead and soaking some turrets and then turning all that damage that the turrets do to me into a bunch of stun for all the thralls for an outpost. And it looks like we have one up there, though that looks like it's an alpha, so I'll probably go find a gamma one that's in the city to test this guy on. But yeah, I also want to do one other thing, if I can. Okay, no, it's going to have to work this way. I'm going to charge up his kinetic energy a little bit this way. How much okay. This is definitely going to hurt him a little bit, but I do want to show this off. Let's see. Almost there. Want you to be able to show off his other attack, which is Thunder Wave. And a little bit more. Don't worry, I'll go ahead and heal him before we go into the outpost. Okay, looks like Dinotherium might be overspawning around here. I might need to Dino Wipe to see if that fixes that. But here we have Thunder Pulse, or Thunder Wave. It says Thunder Pulse on the keybind tooltips, but it says Thunder Wave down at the bottom. Anyway, let's go ahead and do it, and there we go. Much wider range, and it seems that the stun is affecting multiple. It's definitely affecting a lot, but I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure what the actual status effect is really doing. It looks like, yeah, we can't use our block right now. Yeah, I'm guessing that that goes ahead and will probably dismount riders. I'm not 100% sure about that. I can't really check the status effect that they have, so a little bit difficult to tell, but Yeah, either way, seems that this thing's going to be an absolute crowd control menace, which I'm not complaining about. I do like having some good crowd control for these outposts, and I forgot one last thing I want to do. I should have... nope, don't have it on me. Let me just grab the, try and pull it through here. Should be... where is it? No. I might have to go physically grab it. Hold on, let me quickly go grab this right quick. And we simply can just go ahead and equip this to the saddle, and there we go. Now we have a nice little plushie of Milton. That's adorable. That's really cute. Alright, well, yeah, so that's all the attacks that the Ledu has to offer. Definitely very interesting. And honestly, I really like the look of this thing. It almost reminds me of a Gila monster a little bit. I don't know if that was done on purpose or if I'm just seeing things weird, but yeah, I will go ahead and heal this guy up so he's not almost dead, and then I think we'll go ahead and take him against one of the Gamma outposts somewhere in the city, and we'll see how he performs, and if he makes it out, great. If he doesn't, well, that's why I tamed a bunch of extra ones, so let me quickly go ahead and heal him, and then I'll bring you guys back when we're ready to start the outpost. Alright, so finally I ended up finding a Gamma outpost in the city. Unfortunately, it is a gladiator's keep, so it's probably the hardest outpost we could have gotten, but honestly, that's okay. We'll see if this ends up working out. So we're going to switch on over to biped stance, and we're just going to see if these turrets actually will go ahead. Oh, yeah, no, they definitely do. Alright, let's see what happens when we do this. Alright, I'm not really seeing as much damage as I was hoping. So I'll definitely have to go ahead and see what happens when I go ahead and use that later on. I think... let's see, can I build up a little bit more? There we go. Alright. Let's see what happens now. There's some Rexes around. Okay. Well, I think we have a big lag spike right now. Oh, there we go. I don't know why I've been having a lot of those recently. Looks like we're almost stuck in my Veilwind, so there, I'll go ahead and pull them out. Alright, well, the stun doesn't seem to be nearly as good as I was hoping. Yeah, unfortunately, we seem to be taking a ton of damage, which isn't really good. I'm not sure if that's from the turrets or if that's just from all the Rexes and stuff. Go ahead and just... yeah, we're taking a lot more damage than I'd really be hoping, so I'm gonna go ahead and just get ready for Mischief to have to handle the rest of this. I mean, the damage isn't too bad, all things considered, but definitely is not what I would say is what I'd want to be using for an outpost. I probably am going to need an imprinted one and a good saddle in order for it to really be that good. Though, I am a little bit concerned that this Rex might be a lot stronger than I think. Hold on, let's just see. Come on. I almost feel like it'd be faster if I just hopped off and started shooting it. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, that explains it. If it's level 300, then no wonder it was so bad. Alright, we'll just quickly take out this Thrall here. Sure, let's go ahead and block. Let him build up our energy. Alright, maybe I'll go ahead and just use the turrets for that. Build that up. Fortunately, I mean, we take no damage from the turrets, so we don't really need to worry about the damage that they do. Definitely a really good option for being a soaker. Let me just quickly try to break that generator. There we go, okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to handle the Ocedon. Yeah, I probably should have gotten an imprinted one of these before just hopping in here. I also didn't go ahead and apply any levels, which was also a really bad idea. I'm not even sure how I'm gonna break that. Yeah, that could be a bit of a problem. Well, there's definitely no way that we're gonna be able to handle the Octodon in this state, so I think I'm just gonna head out of range real quick to see if I can toss something out to go ahead and handle the Octodon. I'll probably just bring in my Octodon, because I definitely want to be able to still complete this thing, because there might be a good equipment trait in here that I want, but yeah, it looks like the Ledu wasn't really holding up as well, though I honestly think that that's more because that's a freshly tamed one with no levels in a primitive saddle, and not because they just aren't really that helpful. Though the stun didn't really seem to affect the thralls that much, which is a little bit disappointing. I don't know if that's bugged or something. I don't know why the thralls wouldn't be affected when everything else seems to be, but yeah, I'll have to go ahead and probably breed up some of them to get an imprinted one before I really can test them out. Though, I feel that they'd still be pretty decent against, like, a boss or something. I mean, their damage isn't that bad, it just wasn't really able to get the armor damage that I needed. Take a little bit to go ahead and kill this Octodon, so let me just quickly go ahead and take him out. Alright, there goes the Octodon. Thrall's not that hard to deal with, so I'll just quickly take him out as well. In fact, you know what? Here. A little bit too impatient for this right now. I'll take him out myself. There we go. Alright. Crack this open. Go ahead and just quickly drop all my stuff on the floor so I can weed through everything a little bit easier. Where's my whip? There we go. And hopefully we get good equipment tray out of this, though I'm not really expecting anything. And yeah, as usual, nothing great. What a shocker. Anyway, but yeah, so Ledu didn't do as well as I was hoping, but again, I think that's mostly just because I didn't really have a good one. I just had a random, I think that was, 145 tame, right? 145? Yeah, 145 tame that I randomly picked up. Didn't even have that crazy of stats, but yeah, I definitely feel that if I had mutated them, they definitely could be pretty decent form of damage. I mean, they have a pretty high base damage from what I can see. I'm not exactly sure if there's something I'm missing. I feel like there's more abilities that they have access to that I really wasn't able to utilize. I thought they had some form of a counterattack or something that you could use when they're blocking, but I couldn't seem to be able to utilize that at all, so I might have to look into them a little bit more. But either way, I did enjoy using it. They're definitely a fun creature to go ahead and use, and their ability to just tank all of the turret damage while blocking is definitely really helpful. So if you have multiple people, I would definitely recommend having someone on one of those if you have access to them, just to go ahead and be able to tank the turrets for you. That was really helpful, even if I really wouldn't be able to put it to that much use, seeing that I'm by myself and not really able to control the creatures that would go ahead and take advantage of the turrets not being able to do any damage. But yeah, either way, still find them really fun, and I definitely do recommend that you look into them, especially if you're looking for some creatures that are a little bit more different. The Paleo Ark creatures, particularly the Rulers of the Wasteland ones, I think are really cool. Definitely unlike anything that ARK already has to offer, so I definitely do appreciate them, and I'm really hoping that I can end up finding the Empirosaurus here, because I don't really remember that one too well, and I really would like to test it out. So if I end up finding some, might go ahead and end up making an episode in the future about them, but for now, I think we're just going to be sticking with the Ledu for now, and I might go ahead and get an imprinted one just to use around and take it for fun, but yeah, they'll probably sit near the bottom of my mutate list for now, though. Let me know if you do want to see them mutated, because honestly, their taming method really isn't that bad to do, and with how common they are, I feel like I could get around and get some decent stats relatively quickly, though with how big they are, it might be a little bit difficult to figure out how I'm going to manage to mutate them, but I think getting the stats shouldn't be that bad, so do let me know if you want to see them mutated, because I might go ahead and do it if there's some interest in that. But yeah, I have a lot of projects, and I'm thinking that next episode is probably going to be the next project that I've been working on. I'm really excited for that one. It's taken me quite a while to find all the good stats, but I'm really hoping that it's going to be worth it in the end. But yeah, I guess we'll just head home, and I'll go ahead and end the episode when I get there. So hold on 1 second. Alright, made it back home. So, yeah, as I was saying, these guys are really fun to go ahead and use, and while it didn't exactly perform as well as I was hoping against the outpost, I'll definitely have to try it out with a better stat one, either one that's imprinted or just with some better stats. I mean, going into an outpost, even a gamma one with a primitive saddle and stats like this is probably a really, really bad idea. And honestly, I feel like most of the issues that we had were because of that level 300 Rex, which probably had a really good armor saddle, which would explain a lot. But yeah, honestly, these guys are pretty fun. So if you're looking for some modded creatures to go ahead and add to your server or your single player, then I'd go ahead and recommend adding these guys. They're definitely pretty fun to use, and honestly, I find their taming method quite enjoyable, so that's always a plus. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for this one. So, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, farewell.